Hello pre-calculus students, this is lesson 16. We're just talking about what are radians. I'm going to assume you know how to solve most of these things they're asking you to solve, except for they're giving things to you in radians. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you how to convert from radians to degrees, and then you're good to go. If you need extra help on those things, of course, feel free to ask, but I think this is the core of what lesson 16 is trying to teach you, so I'm just trying to help you out a little bit with that. First of all, what are radians? Well, a radian is what we say a radian is if you take the length of the radius of a circle and put it along an arc along the edge of the circle. We say to move from here to over here, we say that's 1 radian. So moving from here to here is 1 radian, like the length of 1 radius. Kind of makes sense, right? So if you were to move the length of 2 radiuses, we'd say that's 2 radian. Okay? And as you go around, of course, we know that the circumference, meaning all the way around here, is 2 pi r. Right? So that means whatever the length of r is, if you multiply it by 2 pi, that's how long it is around here. And of course that would change with the radius of the circle. So we know then that there are 2 pi r's, so there's 2 pi radians in one circle. So to go all the way around the circle would be to have to go on 2 pi of these radians. 2 pi of these radians. So that means that 360 degrees is the same thing as 2 pi radians. And we just kind of abbreviate radians to rad, but we still say radians. It's just an easier way to write it. So if you divided both these sides by 2, that means 180 pi would be pi radians. 90 degrees, 180 degrees would be pi radians. 90 degrees would be pi over 2 radians. 45 degrees would be pi over 4 radians, etc., etc. And you can kind of just find more and more of these if you want. But let's actually talk about how do we convert between radians to degrees. And let's first off go with changing from radians. So if you're given radians, how do you change those to degrees? So let's just try this a little bit. And the simple trick is just to multiply by 180 over pi. 180 degrees over pi radians. Remember, those two measures are the same. Right? 180 is the same as pi. So if you multiply it by those two, this is just multiplying it by 1. I'm just changing its form. Just like you change any other, from inches to centimeters or from minutes to hours or something like that. So we're trying to convert each of these radians. These are in radians, so technically they should all say rad next to them. But I guess technically I didn't have to because I did say that they were measured in radians here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this. I've got negative pi over 3, and this is radians. I'm going to multiply this by 180 over pi radians. So this is going to have a degree measure on it. So notice here then my radian measures will reduce, my pi's will reduce, and I'm just going to end up with 180 degrees, negative 180 degrees over 3, which of course comes out to be negative 60 degrees. So negative pi over 3 is negative 60 degrees. Or I guess you could say pi over 3 would be 60 degrees. We could also draw that conclusion from there. Alright, same idea with 5 pi over 2 radians. And you look at that and you're like, 5 pi over 2 into what? So let's convert it into degrees so we can just kind of get a concept of what that is. So I'm going to say 5 pi over 2, and of course this is radians. I'm going to multiply it by the number 1, 180 degrees over pi radians. Again, my radians will reduce, my pi's will reduce with each other. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 180 90 times. So then this is going to be 5 times 90. which is 450 degrees. Okay, so 5 pi over 2 would be the same thing as 450 degrees over 1, or 450 degrees. Okay, now, very similarly, if you wanted to change degrees to radians, you'd multiply by the reciprocal of what we talked about earlier. Now I'm talking about pi over 180. So it says convert each degree measure into radians. So I'm going to do the same thing I just did, except for kind of the other way. 30 degrees, I'll say over 1, is multiplied by pi radians over 180 degrees. So notice here, these degrees will reduce with each other, those units of measure. And I just need to divide 30 by 180. And I'll get 1/6, so that means this is going to come out to be pi over 6 radians. So 30 degrees is the same thing as pi over 6 radians. 270, so again, same basic concept. 270 degrees, I'll say over 1, multiplied by another form of 1, pi radians over 180 degrees. My degrees will reduce. Let's see, I know 90 goes into this 3 times, 90 goes into that 2 times. So then this is going to come out to be 3 times pi on top, 3 pi. And then 1 times 2 on the bottom, which is 2, and my measure in here is radians. So 3 pi over 2 radians. And just a note here, don't try to multiply 3.14 times this. We leave the pi in there for an exact answer there on radians. I hope this helps you to be able to convert between and be able to do the math that you've already learned. Again, read the examples in the book. They're excellent. Hopefully they'll help you out a lot. Good luck, guys.